Hi guys, welcome back to the Zeta channel, and tonight we're going to talk about the astrological events that's happening right now. I haven't posted a video in a few weeks because I've been super busy, but I pushed myself to come on and make this video tonight, especially for you, just in time for the major events that's happening at the end of this week. On Thursday, we have Mercury going retrograde in Cancer. And if that isn't enough, with all the other planets in retrograde at the moment too, we have a superior solar eclipse on Saturday night, Sunday morning, depending where in the world you're based. Here in Ireland, the eclipse should be happening between 4 and 8 a.m. and we're not forecasted to be able to see it. It won't be visible to us like it will be in countries like Africa and China and southern India, where they will actually see the ring of fire. And maybe we'd be lucky not to see it, because after the last lunar eclipse on June the 5th, and lightning striking the Statue of Liberty and the White House, it will be interesting to see what's going to happen with the solar eclipse, as the solar eclipses are more energetic towards the hierarchy in life, like governments and world leaders. So, yes, hold tight. I can nearly guarantee something intense is going to happen. And fingers crossed we're going to stay safe, because often with a solar eclipse, the weather can be intensified, or anger can be intensified, where major events are known to happen, like the last solar eclipse we had in this alignment was in 2011, just before 9/11. So yes, there's always something historical happens at this time. And now this solar eclipse is at 0 degree Cancer, so it can highlight a lot on our emotional requirements and our family, but also that could be protecting our family. So as we can see with the riots that are kind of easing off a little bit in America and England and other places, and people searching for their freedom, personal freedom. Um, Basically, the main reason for the riot was justice, black justice, from not being treated equally, and then bringing back the history of slavery. And with Mars being in Pisces, and Pisces time is nearly up now as we're entering the age of Aquarius. So Pisces been known as the age of Jesus, and Jesus being crucified and basically used as a slave as well when he was kidnapped and tortured. Justice for all of that, for the lies, the betrayal, the unfairness. So that's what we were seeing before this new age of Aquarius. This equality need and subject and highlight had to be enlightened. And wow, did it get enlightened? Yes, it did, as we can all see. And with Mars being in Pisces, Mars being the god of war and aggression and the accelerator of the whole planetary system, he sure put up a fight in Pisces. He is making sure Pisces age goes out with a blast, which was only deserving for the unfair and unequal justice system that we were living under. So for the new age of Aquarius, we shall be able, hopefully, to live together more peacefully and be more empathetic to each other and treat each other as one, as that is the whole motto and the whole theme of the age of Aquarius, for us all to have one consciousness and realize that we're all equal, and to open up our third eyes and raise our vibration and raise our frequency, so we can all live together in harmony and unity and not judge each other and put each other in upper and lower class statuses. We all have something different to bring to the table. So that is the whole violent, riot, aggression behavior we're seeing now is so that can be seen and known and heard and highlighted in every mind and heart out there. So let's hope that all of the destruction has been worthwhile and the violence. So as we enter this weekend with Mercury going retrograde, now Mercury goes retrograde 3 or 4 times a year, so we're all not foreign to this. We're all used to Mercury retrograde, but it still doesn't stop it being such a pain in the ass, because when Mercury goes retrograde, the communication system breaks down via communication with us humans talking to each other, understanding each other, communication with technology, communication with business people, transactions, communication with how explanation is understood in all levels. So even things like under the technology realm, like even flights, even air travel computer systems can be faulty, and so a lot of people refuse to fly when Mercury's retrograde, me as one of them. And a lot of people, if they don't have their files backed up on their computers, can lose all of their information. So that is one reason why I'm here 2 nights before Mercury does go retrograde, to remind you to back up files that are very important to you, because it is well known for them to just disappear during the retrograde. Now, Mercury doesn't go retrograde for long. He is going retrograde on Thursday, and he should be going forward again on like the 13th of July. So it's best to hold back on major transactions and decisions to do with technology and business until then. Also, as Venus is still retrograde, nearly finished, thank God. She will be out of retrograde on the 25th of this month. But with Mercury still retrograde and Saturn still retrograde and Jupiter retrograde and Pluto retrograde, she will still be in her shadow period until probably mid-July, so she won't be at her full blossom beautiful self until then. But it's something to look forward to, and I already am seeing, since Venus came out of the dark and is now the new morning star last week, I'm already seeing my creative side being much more enlightened and alive. And because when she was in the dark period for the 10 days, whoa, it was so hard. It was just, to motivate yourself to do anything, to feel beautiful and to feel inspiration in the arts. Me as an artist especially, I found it really difficult. I had to really push myself, but now I can feel it just naturally coming back, thankfully. So it will be interesting to see on Saturday what is going to happen in the world events. I am a little bit anxious about it, because with everything that's happening now, and people have been tested to the limits. So many of us are stronger than ever when it comes to being revolutionary warriors, and no holding back, I suppose, would be the main motto. So most of us have realized that material things aren't that important at the end of the day, that our passion, our family, our sense of justice, our need for justice, our values are worth so much more. So Shiva, as the destruction god, will be alive in us all. And with this ring of fire, it will burn deeper than ever before in us all. And what we're going to do as collective conscious people and as one, for our voice to be heard, to obtain our justice, is unknown until this weekend. So it should be very interesting to see what will happen. And also the weather can be affected. So I'm hoping that we're all going to stay safe, as only 2 days ago I was sitting on my sofa here and I was just nice and chilled for a few minutes, just after sitting down, and next thing, bang, this big loud roar of thunder. It made me shake. I was so scared. I have never heard a bang of thunder like that before, ever. And I have been in many different countries where they have thunderstorms very frequently. But there was something different about this one. Louder, closer, which was scary. And with the solar eclipse, who knows what's going to happen. Just pray that we'll all be safe. Prepare yourself for it. It's a good time to, as it's a new moon as well, manifest good things in your life for the highest good of you and the universe and the community you live in. As we're going to be leaving Gemini sun, and the sun is going to be going into Cancer, we're going to become more in touch with our emotions again, which for some of you, it's not going to be good, because we have been in a period for the last few weeks where the sun was in Gemini, where we were all in our heads, and Venus been in retrograde, if we weren't in a relationship, a love relationship, like we're always in relationships with different people, but in a love affair relationship, then we were enjoying the fact that we didn't have to really deal with many emotions. It was mainly like learning stuff in our heads and been hungry for information and wanting to watch documentaries and read books and know more, as the Gemini is always hungry for knowledge, and spending more time in our communities, even though the lockdown prevented a lot of things being open, but still just to be out and about and just to meet people. But the Cancer energy is more emotional, to the core, family orientated and home birds. The Cancerians are known as the loony home birds. The Cancerian people are like totally ruled by the moon, and the moon changes every 2.5 to 3 days, so their moods seem to change. So it can be a very fluctuation time while in the Cancer energy. Very imaginative and nurturing. Some of us will find yourselves back in the parental role very nicely, and just being the perfect mother and father, and even if you don't have children, that could be with your friends, taking on that role with your animals, with your parents, with your relationships you have. And others of us that may be lacking nurturing due to maybe not feeling loved and feeling like we never got that nurturing we deserved, will become more childlike and need the nurturing. So it will be a good time for helping each other, because the wheel always rotates, and if you feel that energy of being the nurturer, well then do the job and look after whoever you can look after. But if you feel the energy of being the one that needs to be nurtured, and you're not a selfish person, but you know that you could do with some love, well, go and get it. It's going to be there. So also Cancerians are very creative, so it's a great time to, especially with Mercury in retrograde for the first few weeks, it's a great time to get arty and crafty again, and design, and write a song or a poem, because Cancerians are the deep thinkers. Cancerians dive deep into the ocean, and they are the ones who manage to swim to that treasure box under the sea and open it and find all the treasures and the secrets. So it's a time where, through meditation, even if you're not Cancerian, you shall be able to dive deeper than usual, than any other time of the year. So that would be my advice to you. Be careful though, because Mars is going into Aries, which a lot of people are dreading, because Mars rules Aries, that's his home, but he's gone in there for 6 months, which is very unusual, because he usually only spends 2 months most at a time in a planet. And he's also gone retrograde in September in Aries. So when Mars is in Aries, when he's in his home, things can be very fiery and fast and aggressive, because Mars being the god of war. Let's hope that there won't be another major war happening while he's in Aries. Let's hope that the Sun in Cancer will be nurturing enough in us all and emotionally balanced enough this time for us all to not rise to the aggression, so we can all as collective beings prevent the war by having more empathy, as cancer is the ruler of the empathetic world, and empathy is what we need at the moment. We need to, we're all different, we all had different upbringings in life. Even some people that had nothing, like materialistic, but they had their brothers and sisters and their parents that loved and adored them, and they got so much attention. And then you might have somebody who was brought up with lots of material things in a rich home, but didn't get any nurturing, didn't get any attention, was just brought up by childminders and just been given lavish gifts as an excuse for their parents not having time to spend. So we can't judge each other too easily, because nobody knows how the other person's feeling. Just because they might have had something you never had doesn't mean that they're worth less to you, or that you should judge them. Because a lot of the time we judge someone out of jealousy, or jealousy, maybe not the word I'm looking for, envy. If we're envious of somebody for they had a lifestyle we always wanted, and we can judge them for that, and that's not right. We need to be more empathetic in how we judge people. We shouldn't judge anyone, but we need to have empathy for people, understand them. They have this there's a tribe in Africa, and I love the way they deal with the people that cause crime or commit crime. What they do is they put the person that committed the crime in the center of a circle that they create themselves by holding hands, and they circle around the person, and they start chanting all the good things that person has done in their lives, instead of punishing the person for the bad things, until the person breaks down and cries from all the glory of praise that the person's been given, she. Then they realize that they did wrong, and now they're guilty. The shame comes up to the surface, and they cry, and they release that shame, and they're cleansed of that shame that they have. And I think that's beautiful. And I think if more of us were like that with people that we may think that are doing wrong or are not up to our standards, if we praise the good in them. Now, I'm not saying it works for everybody. Some people are just bad to the bone, unfortunately. But if we try more, I do believe the majority of people are not. And it's just the way that they have been stamped through something that they did when they were younger, or just judgmental people. And sometimes if someone does something wrong, and then the shame can make them do more wrong things, because they just start believing that they're a bad person, and then they'll just do bad things. But if, like I was saying about that tribe, if people enhance the good in others, then people will continue to do good. So let's be good occupiers of the sun in Cancer this time, especially after all we've been through with this virus, which was like worldwide. And we should now have developed empathy and care for people. So we should be really good mother and fathers, especially to the people that need us at the moment. And we should get love where it's needed, and give love where it's needed. And let's change. Let's go with the flow, and let's dive in to the beautiful new age of Aquarius, full of life and vitality and pureness, and manifest all of our dreams and desires to come true by being good, and wipe away all of the bad Pandora box feelings, like jealousy, greed, what other Pandora box badness is there? Ego, having too much ego, thinking we're better than other people. Lust. Let's try more connectiveness. If we're going to be with somebody that we don't plan on settling down with, but we want to, as adults, share some energy together. Let's do it with more connectiveness than lust. Cheating. Let's be honest with each other and not cheat with each other. So, infidelity or infidelity. Let's banish the infidelity. And all the deadly sins like the Pandora box, energies that were let loose. Let's tame them and become honest, connected individuals and harmonious, and get closer to each other. See how the COVID-19 was telling us to distance from each other. And now let's get closer to each other. It doesn't have to be always physically, but just understanding each other and talking to each other with better communication. Now that Venus is going to be going direct, our communication for our feelings should start to flow easier again. And let's start doing with more love and empathy than ever before, as we've realized that life is so precious. Okay guys, I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I should go over with you before the solstice? Let's pray and light a candle and make a wish that this solstice will be safe for us and will be the eclipse that we need to move forward towards our dreams. Us as individuals and us as collective race and planet. Let's pray for that. Okay guys, stay safe, happy solstice, and total eclipse of the heart in a good way, the best way possible for you all. Till next time, namaste.